isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is 1 town, 1 place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. All right, hi everybody, welcome back to Roll with Advantage. Very excited to dive into tonight's session. Let's roll the intro and get started. Yeah, this might be.
For what I'm fucking doing, but I'm trying every fucking day.
I would have never even met you.
Sure, it's a very lengthy repertoire. But
A powerful warrior, which, I definitely agree with you on, but
So. And we're back. So as is tradition here on Roll with Advantage, I do not do the summary. The players do the summary. This week on summary is Felicity. Whenever you're ready, take it away, Felicity.
Yes. Give me 1 second. Boop 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 doop doop. Doop doop doop. Boop. Yes. Okay, should I read both? The 9:30? Sorry, because we had chapter 30 and then the breaking. Should I read both?
No, I wouldn't worry about it. You can just do the breaking. That's fine.
Okay, I was like, this is a lot. Get ready for a little book, so. Okay. As the Wanderers headed to Akai, the Forerunners prepared for a final battle in Hell, and the Wardens of Aphera tracked down Dark Emerald. All three parties coalesced in the same location, somehow adjacent to one another despite being on 3 separate planes of existence. Emerald, having captured both Carasilla and Lila to lure the others here, was preparing for the Forsaken Ritual, a process that would restore all 13 Forsaken back to life even stronger than before. He furiously explained to the parties that his goal had been all along. He wasn't just associated with the Creator, he was the Creator. In every other reality he had made, the planes had fallen to darkness, and he was ready to let the same fate fall to this one. The Dark One they had been fighting all along was not a separate entity, but rather an amalgamation of dark energy from all other doomed realities, beginning this reality to join it. Should they fail today, everything would be consumed once and for all, and his failed creations would finally be brought to an end. But the parties, even knowing they were about to fight the Creator himself, refused to back down. And so the battle began. On 3 planes and 1, the Forerunners fought to keep Glacia, daughter of Asmodeus, from claiming the throne of Hell, as Ahriman the Forsaken, a mummy lord and master wizard, aided her. The Wanderers fought to keep Draven Hunt from claiming the throne of Akai and ascending the vaults, as Lorrokan, a forsaken giant, and his acid dragon steed aided him. And the Wardens fought to stop Emerald from completing the Forsaken ritual and bringing ruin to everything they've ever known. And all of them were aided by allies they'd come to trust with their lives, Sultana, Suna, and Zevran. For some time, the brutal fight was going in the party's favor. Draven's ritual to ascend the throne was broken, then Glacia's, and finally Emerald's. But it was at this moment when Emerald finally broke out of his concentration, started to fight back. Things quickly took a turn for the worse, as the maker of magic himself hit them with unparalleled feats of mastery. Sultana, Warden of Aferatorin, and Zevran were killed before the party could do anything to prevent it. Meanwhile, Draven Lorrokan and his dragon were defeated, and Glacia, abandoned by Ahriman in a critical moment, gave up her fight for the throne and decided to help, knowing there would be no hell to rule if Emerald had his way. Eventually, after nearly everyone else in the team had a near-death experience, it was Twig of the Forerunners who landed the final blows. 2 perfect bolts right into Emerald's skull. As the Creator lay dying, the team took a chance to have final words and deliver final blows. He finally faded away, all 3 rituals stopped for good, and the darkness at bay for now. However, Ahriman and Glacia survived the fight and seemed to get away, and many questions still remained about what to do now, how to proceed in their final fight to save Illica now that the Creator himself was dead. Perhaps Emerald's simulacrum, the good Emerald, that many of them had known before, I think is what it was supposed to say, was still out there and would have some sort of answers. But before they could plan anything together, the 3 planes of existence returned to their proper place again, and the parties were left to wrap up their business separately. And that's what happened.
All right, thank you so much. So that's exactly where we are going to pick up. All of you just having gone through a torment of combat and swirling magic and the edge of reality. You fought back. You endured and you arose victorious. The same moment that ended every other reality, if they had not ended sooner, you all prevented. Emeril, the Creator, was unable to consume the world or allow it to be consumed because all of you broke the cycle. You broke the world. And the moments that followed were chaotic. The tendrils that descended down from the crack, they all began to thrash out rapidly and aggressively, but then they began to wither and retract, unknowing of what to do. Not all the way, they just shrunk back further into the sky. And all of that raw arcane magic, the millions of tiny fractures coming off of the much larger crack in the very center, they froze in place. It stopped for just a moment, as if the sky is frozen in some stasis. But as that realm that all of you were fighting in that bridged the gap between the hells and Akai began to shatter and crash. You went back to the throne room. You said goodbye to your allies. Wish them luck on whatever endured next for them. As we come back now, you all are at the highest peak of Akai City. Within the throne room, you can see that under normal circumstances, this place would be quite beautiful. The throne room is restored to what it once was. That magic didn't break anything here, it just melded the two worlds together. However, what is left is the corpses of two Banshin, corpse of Draven Hunt, and the mangled, bloodied corpse of Suen Akai, the former queen of Akai and heir to all of Adarashi. Now, all of you are conscious at this point. If you were unconscious at the end of the previous encounter, we'll say you're at 1 hit point right now. Whether it be through a lay on hands, or through a potion, or through Varnast, whoever, you're at 1 right now. If you're not, if you were unconscious. All of you stand leaning over each other or sitting on the steps. And all of you can see that Sultana, instead of returning with the wardens, she was given to all of you. Varnas said that he would be back as soon as he could. It would take days for him to recoup his magic and perform the necessary rites, but he would return to attempt the resurrection ritual of Sultana. So, Suni will say that you were able to carry her body and bring it over to the other side. But you all can see Suna. She moves over to her mother. She kneels down next to her mother's corpse. You can see the runes and lacerations carved in the skin and the mangled, bloody pulp that was her head at one point in time that Draven had viciously stomped before rallying his attack. You can see Suna sit down near it. And she just sort of grabs the cold, clammy hands covered in blood and looks down towards that mangled, pulpy mess.
I will never forgive you for what you did. To me, to Yuki, to these people. But you did not deserve this. No one deserves this.
And at that point, you hear banging at the doors. And then eventually, they break open, and you can see several column of guards dressed in the same attire that Renshi would have worn. Defenders of the throne. And in fact, Carasilla, you can even recognize that their armor is derivative of that Iseo used to wear in those visions when he served as the royal guard of the emperor. They wear an armor that is a modernized version of it, a little bit sleeker, a little bit more cleaner, but they enter, running in, probably 30, 40 of them, immediately ready to be on the offensive as they draw their blades and point them at all of you. Honestly, most of these swordsmen seem competent, but all of you know that if you were at your full strength, you could probably handle this. But one or two wrong arrows, or if you aren't able to dodge enough attacks, it would all end very quickly. You can see the commander of this royal guard wearing a helmet, and you can see that he has a mask obscuring most of his face except his eyes, and you can see the eyes sort of twist and glow with this divine coloring. Just from his eyes, you can tell that there's some ASMR in his bloodline as he brandishes his blade and says, "Hold there! What has transpired here?" Looking towards the mangled corpse of Suen and Draven Hunt dead, and seeing Suna, and all of you, knowing at least all of you in name, and recognizing all of you. You can see in this moment, Suna doesn't say anything. She's staring at that corpse. But the guards begin to encircle all of you.
There is no fight here. Not anymore, at least. I'm sure you can all lower your weapons. We can explain anything that you can question, at least to the best of our ability. As to what happened here, it was nothing more than a reckoning. Something that each of them had brought onto themselves. Something that, if what happened didn't happen, would have been a fate that all of Atarashi would have suffered instead.
You can see he looks to you, Carasilla, and looks around to the carnage. And says, Listen, I want to believe you, but you have to understand how this looks to me. Tell me what happened. Why is the Empress dead, and her daughter currently stands over her body?
I mean, I feel like Carousel has to kind of look to the others. She was in a fucking cage for this. She wasn't here.
Draven was using the Empress as a pawn in his plan. He's the one that killed her, and we, with her daughter, came to stop him. It was too late, so we had to take care of it. He was incredibly strong, as you can tell, based off of the state of this place. So it needed somebody more than just the guard to step in. We're sorry we couldn't have been here sooner. But Suna is here.
And the giant. Lorokan, what of him?
Is his dead body not here?
No, it was burned away with balefire.
Right.
Lorokan was a Forsaken, an agent of the Dark One. He was part of the reason for her death. I killed him.
You can see the commander. He looks around to the other guards and says,
Get your weapons.
I knew it. And he'll sheath his sword and the rest of them in sync as he sheathes just a moment after they all sheathe their blades as well and return to like an at attention position.
I despise that it had to end this way, but I tried to warn Suen, Draven, that the investors, they weren't good for this place. They had a darkness about them, especially that giant.
And he'll sort of look to all of you and bow slightly and then move past you towards Suna. If you all will allow it.
I think Bianca would keep a really strong eye on him. He seems like a good guy, but like maybe he wants to take over the throne. You know, like Akai kind of has that whole thing of like power and takeover and stuff. So keeping a good eye on him is very vulnerable right now.
Yeah, Ajax is going to stand up very tall and be close to Suna. It, like, intimidating, but, like, he's definitely, like, don't fucking try something.
And he'll recognize that and nod, and he'll keep his sword sheathed
as he approaches and says,
and kind of kneels down to her, says,
Suna, do you remember me?
And he'll kind of take off the mask and the helm. And you can see that, like with a lot of ASMR, their features are like angelic and they glow. Some even have halos, symbolizing their divine lineage. But you can see that, I mean, he almost looks human. There's no glow to his skin. His eyes, they have this very slight glow, but it's almost just like the light is hitting it just right. It's very subdued. As he leans down and says,
Suna, it's Commander Riku. Do you remember me?
And she kind of doesn't look away, but says, I do.
What they're saying is true, isn't it?
She nods.
Well, then
he kind of sighs and will say,
so you understand what this means then, right? What this means for you.
Suna nods.
All right. Then I will begin the preparations for you. Empress.
And will stand. And as he turns, he says to one regiment of the guards of about 15, all of you, stay here with them. Make sure no one comes in or out of those doors. The rest of you with me. I do have a question for all of you, though. Given the fact that you are the regent and council of Bella Clara, your usurpers are within the keep. The investors, the ones that left behind. What would you have done with them? They have no more sanctuary here.
They're still allowed to have sanctuary back in Bella Clara. they just will not have the power and position they held over the people. The power will be given back to the people. If they are not fine with that, then they will have to go elsewhere. But they're not unwelcome.
So then they are free to go.
They're free.
He nods, and then we'll leave the rest of his guards.
Were any particularly working like with the Dark One though? Sorry, did I miss that point right there?
That's the thing, is you don't know. I mean, you know, Rose was a dark friend, so I mean,
that's true. In addition to that, she'll say, "We want to speak with them, but they're not to be killed or something." I thought he was trying to say kill them. So
very well. We will keep them contained. None of them will be allowed to leave until you question them. There are about 50 that fled. Very well. And he'll nod and head off. And
Soldiers
before
left the
he
room.
before he leaves, he will say, "Empress, your mother's body, I would like to have it removed and prepared for a funeral if you would be willing to accommodate that." You can see Suna will sort of stand and nod, and he'll look to two of the other guards and gesture over for them, and you can see they come out, and one of them conjures what looks to be like a floating disc spell, and they place the body on top of that and carry it out. And with that, him and about 45 of the guards leave the room. Another 15 are left behind to just monitor and make sure no one else enters or leaves.
As soon as the guards leave, Ajax, who was in a very upright position, immediately just and goes and like hunches down and just puts his hand on a tree because he's about to fall over.
Is Suna still like on the ground where her mother's body was?
She is, yeah, just sitting there, staring at the ground.
Yeah. I think Bianca would just, knowing that Suna doesn't like love unwarranted touching, she'll just like sit down next to Suna, not saying anything, just so she's not alone there.
I didn't think it would happen this way.
It shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
And she won't say anything else.
I know what you said when Carasilla asked. But I think just because you're a good person, this was going to be hard no matter what way it happened. Regardless, this was extremely inhumane.
She nods.
And yeah, she'll just keep sitting there with her.
Okay. Now, in this time, like I said, there are about 15 other guards in here with you. Is anybody doing anything else during this time, or is everybody just taking a breath?
I think Cecily would just be sitting by the pool of water and try to send a brief message to Poe that we did it, and that we're good. And other than that, though, yeah, she's just shell-shocked, thinking about the fact that the guy that came and taught her how to discipline her magic back in Water's Wake was kind of God. And what the hell to even make of that? And she's probably not going to be able to say anything unless somebody prompts her.
I will say you do receive a message back from Poe in the water. It's very short, very brief. It's this. You can tell he's very tired too, as he says,
I'm glad you're okay. That guy, Renshi, he was different, but him and I fought back against a Forsaken too. Sadly, they got away, but he was trying to hurt the people of the gemstone, Nakure. He's still alive, but we stopped him. I'm glad to hear you're okay.
And she'll just say, I'm glad too. Take it easy, dude. And she'll just flick the water and go ahead and leave him be.
Okay, sounds good.
Where's Suni at? What's he doing?
Suni is sitting and very much slumping over Sultana's body.
Ajax is gonna limp over. How bad is Suni injured? Like, HP wise?
He went down and is now at 1, I suppose.
Shit. Alright, so yeah, Ajax is gonna walk over, just kind of give you space for like a second, like to the point where he doesn't get closer until you notice that he's like walking towards you.
Suni has blind sight, so as soon as you're like walk within 10 feet, he would just say, "Hey, Ajax."
Hey. You want to take a walk?
And he will very gingerly stand to his feet.
Ajax is going to help him to his feet. And while he's doing that, he's going to cast Healing Hands, which is you get 15 points of HP.
Very nice, thank you.
And I guess this is, I mean, it's a massive courtyard, right? Where we at? It's
Yeah, there are, off to the left and right, there are doorways that lead outside to like a cliffside garden that overlooks the sea. So yeah, you can go find some privacy out there.
When they're walking, Suni will like spend the entire time inside, like looking back, like periodically glancing at Sultan's body as they walk out.
I think I know the answer. But how are you?
I'm sad. I think more than anything. Even though I know it was the right thing to do and the sacrifices are worth it and the sacrifices will be okay. But I just feel a very deep sadness.
I know the connection that you two had. I could not imagine. But it wasn't goodbye. I think we'll be able to bring her back.
I know we will. It's odd. It's like a part of me that had always been there, even when I hadn't realized it was there, is gone. And it just kind of feels hollow, but also heavy at the same time, if that makes any sense.
It does. I've been through something similar. The hole never closes. But it gets better over time. But we won't have to worry. You will not have to worry about that hole staying open. She will be back.
It feels this terrible knowing she'll be back. I'm so sorry. And Suni will give Ajax a big, try to reach around him hug.
Ajax will see that and kind of lean down and just give Suni a hug and say, well, after that, kind of like pull him back and put his hands on his shoulders and say,
I'm so thankful for you, Suni. If it wasn't for you, not only would I not be here.
and you see like a little bit of tears.
I wouldn't have existed.
I will always do whatever it takes to make sure that you exist. Because Ajax, the world is a better place with you in it.
Same with you, Suni. You must know that. We got as far as... I was trying to give you a compliment.
Well accepted.
You are pretty fucking cool. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
And
we wouldn't be here if you hadn't met up with us. So you're a good friend, Ajax.
Thank you. I know it's not over. But it kind of feels like it is.
Yeah, it's like, what else could come after that?
I mean, we literally fought the person who created everything, so anything after that kind of terrifies me.
Yeah, it's still weighing on me that is who that was, and who has just been fucking with us this entire time. Did you see that coming? Because I sure as hell didn't.
I've met him maybe twice, so no.
Man.
Apparently, you all knew him for much, much longer.
He's popped in and out. I mean, different versions of him have popped in and out.
Right, because there's another one, but like
the
a good one.
or whatever.
Yeah, Slimeracarum.
I think that's it.
Sounds magical to me.
Yeah, it's all the same. The
We should
words
ask
never
Cecily.
made it. kind of doubt Cecily would know either. Seems above her vocabulary, to be honest. Yeah.
No, Cecily's pretty smart.
Yeah, but Slimeracrum is a pretty big word and pretty convoluted, so. Cecily never finished school, by the way, so.
I mean, I didn't either, so.
I never went to school at all.
Me either.
Look at us. Two uneducated boys just out killing the creator of the world.
We can basically do anything we want. We could... anything that after this should be easy, right?
Is living ever easy?
That is a very big philosophical question, Suni.
Is it worth it if it's easy? That's the bigger one.
We should ask
I like
that one to Carasilla.
Now, Carasilla would know the word, I should say.
Simulacrum?
Yeah, yeah, whatever it is, you know.
Right.
It's all Elvish to me, so. Thank you, H. By the way.
Of course. I know that we're going to walk back in there. It won't be easy. But this is all temporary, remember.
Yeah. It's a hard sight, but
hey,
everything's coming up.
She kicked ass.
I know, right? She's fucking awesome.
Pretty cool. You two are going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, man. Everything, in fact.
Look forward to that.
I do. And I intend to make every second of it count. And learn everything that there is to learn.
Well, we can keep walking until you're ready. And I'll walk back in there with you. Until then, everything around here is such a nice, pretty thing to look at after where we were.
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
Was on the other side. Was that hell?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. You know, we've been to the end of the world, and back, like literally the end of the world and back, and this is still probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
That is the craziest thing I've seen in my life. I wasn't with you during the time traveling thing. The worst I'd seen was the Frozen Keep.
That was pretty crazy too. And so cold. I think I'm ready now. Thank you, Ajax.
Of course.
As they're walking back in, Ajax is going to put his hand on Suni's shoulder.
I'm going to ask Cecily about simulacrums.
Good, get back to me on that.
You should ask Carasilla about the meaning of life, or whatever it was.
I will. If anyone would know, it's either it's probably Carasilla, maybe Keothi, but probably Carasilla.
And then he's gonna just kind of squeeze Suni's shoulder and kind of give him like a half hug, and then go find Cecily.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, you're pretty restricted in terms of what you could be doing and where people are at. You're all sitting in this like fairly large throne room. You know, it's probably like, in all reality, about 200 feet long and about 100 feet wide. One really big rectangle. So Cecily, you're sitting somewhere in there. Are you doing anything in particular? Or are you just kind of trying to catch your breath after everything that happened when Ajax finds you?
She's just thinking, and not breathing very steadily, and clearly trying to find her center again. I would say that when Ajax is approaching, you can see her wipe a tear or two from her eyes, and you can see any of the bodies of water near her. They're like rippling a little bit, but when she catches her breath, it manages to sort of calm back down, like she's getting control of the storm again.
Ajax is going to sit down next to her and pull out from his bag a greater healing potion and hand it to her and say,
Well, I have a lot to talk to you about, but first I need you to feel a little bit better, so drink that.
Yeah, when she turns to you, she'll be like the classic one eye half open, like welts and shit. She took a meteor to the forehead. And she's just gonna take the greater healing potion and be like, this looks delicious right now. What do they taste like? She's gonna take it, but like, what does a healing potion taste like, Joe?
This one's old, by the way.
Yeah, so most healing potions are rather I don't want to say flavorless. You know the taste you get when like aspirin hits your tongue? They're kind of acidic.
Awesome.
Yeah. But then it's like immediately coupled with this like icy hot sensation. You know, like when you have like a really sore back and you put icy hot on it, you're like, ooh, you know, it's like, oh, that's just right. So it's like acid taste, icy hot over the body all at once.
Nice. To quote Hank Hill, ah, icy. Oh, hot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, she's gonna drink it like it's goddamn lemonade. Like it's incredible right now.
Ajax is then gonna pull out some of the jerky he has, and give Cecily a piece, which I assume at this point is a little smoky flavored because of the meteor storm.
It's flambéed.
Yeah. And Ajax can definitely tell that Cecily was, you know, kind of contemplating on things. And he's going to say,
Suni and I were talking. What is a simulacrum?
The fuck? What do you... I don't even know where to start. What are you saying? Are you trying to say Bolarolos?
No, I know how to say Bolarolos.
Okay. Took me a while. Simulacrum?
Sorry.
Yes, simulacrum.
So you're thinking about Emerald?
No, not necessarily. Suni and I were talking, and I said that you knew exactly what that was, and Suni said you probably didn't know what it was. So I decided to come and ask you.
The fuck, Suni? It's 4 syllables. I mean, so is Bolarolos, I guess.
Simulacrum. Yeah, you're right.
Didn't you go to school?
Of course.
Okay. You'll see her struggle with her bad teeth on this tough jerky. She's kind of has to like tear and twist at it a little bit.
So you do know.
I do. And I know that the version of him that I knew almost a year ago now. You know how we were in 3 places at once, but we also weren't?
You mean just now?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well, that's kind of what I feel about him. Person who trained me and who we got advice from all this time. It was him. It is him. But it's not at the same time. Even if it doesn't quite make sense yet.
So the one who trained you was the one where Renchi is? Or was it the one that we just killed?
The former. The one who didn't seem to know who he was until... I mean, shit, maybe he still doesn't. I don't know.
I have a pretty good hunch he probably does. So you're saying the one that trained you was the simulacrum of the one we just...
I remember hearing that he regained himself somehow when the Forerunners saved him some months ago. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know. All I know is if he's still intact after everything that just happened, which fuck I hope he is. He's one of the first people I need to talk to.
I think you should.
Need to talk to.
We do. But it is important that you talk to him. Yourself. He meant a lot to you. Means a lot to you. I know that you're having conflicting feelings at the moment. They are the same person, but not of the same mind. Not of the same actions.
They made me realize something pretty important. I mean, we go and kill Desmond, and soon he's talking about how it doesn't feel like anything's changed. Then we go to get justice with Suen, and she's already gone. And it just makes everything feel worse. And then we fight Emerald because we have to. I mean, things would definitely not be better if we didn't, but...
We needed to.
I would have loved if we didn't.
I know.
And I think this all made me realize that if this really is the one version of reality where we win, where we go into those vaults and push all of the other realities' darkness back. I can't fight Odin. I can't go after him in the night. I can't come up with some sort of plan. I can't even do it if it feels like there's no other option. The weave's getting weak. So much is getting plucked out of it, and I don't know if I can ever forgive that man. But I think I've realized that my job here isn't to take people out of the weave. It's to help stitch them back in.
I have always said how wise you are. I think that Odin is something you do need to handle. But as you said, no longer in the way that you've been thinking up until now. You need to give yourself peace, Cecily. You cannot let Odin and his actions from the past control your future.
God, I'm gonna have to admit that my dad was right.
As they normally are.
Doesn't that suck?
It does. But eventually we do realize how much wisdom they were trying to impart on us. But that comes later. I will go with you. If you want to go talk to Odin, confront him, whatever you want, I will accompany you.
Thank you, Ajax, but I think this is a lot like Emerald. There's conversations that all of us need to have about saving Illica, but there's a different conversation that I need to have. Just me and him.
Then at least allow me to travel to their home with you. I don't need to be in the room. I'd prefer if I wasn't. But I have been thinking about talking to Thor.
Well,
I feel like they'd be in the vicinity.
they would. From what I understand it, my dad is planning on making his return known and getting the old family back together again.
I would also like to say that, should you wish that I do not talk to Thor, I will not.
He has a way of getting to me. I think we'll just have to sort it out when we get there.
I think so.
Either way, in a weird way, that almost feels like, not the biggest deal anymore.
Yeah, it seems like there are bigger things to worry about. Also, before I go take a walk. I think when we get back, Bella Clara, I'd like to have a conversation. Master of War and Defense with the Master Builder. You're also pretty good at tacticians. What you did in the battle was saved all of us. I have ideas, but I am a simple person with a simple spear. This requires more magical means.
I mostly just made the sky bow boom and then ran around like a little bitch, but...
Cecily, with all due respect, you manipulated the wind and water around all of us to not only hurt our enemies, but bolster your allies. You consistently, in every fight I've ever seen you in, which is not as many as everyone else, but I can ascertain your abilities from the ones I've been in. You've saved our lives multiple times. You've dealt with bigger threats, twice, 3 times your size. You don't make the sky go boom. You determine when it does. You control it. You're one of the most powerful magic wielders I've ever seen. I need you when we get back to Bella Clara.
Oh. We killed the creator. What's a few buildings, right?
Well, we wanted to build those, but yes.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to blow up buildings.
Okay, just so we're on the same page.
If anything, there's a opposite problem in Bella Clara. We need structures.
We need more.
We need a lot of structures. We need so many structures. Ivana took down so many structures.
Well, as the master builder, I would hope you start to figure that out.
I've used a hammer once. And she'll kind of get up with her last bite of jerky and start just sort of pacing around to think, and she'll say, hey, I almost feel like that feeling I used to get when I would cause trouble. I can't imagine the world's going to be too happy with us that we killed who we did.
I don't think it's our world we'll have to worry about. But whatever comes next, as we always do, we will handle it.
Well. While we're at it, let's just maybe not rush out and tell everyone we meet that the person that made all of us was about to stomp us into the ground. Feels bad for morale.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ajax stands up and kind of smiles and nods to Cecily, and then starts to turn around and says,
I love you, Cecily.
I love you too.
Good.
And she'll, under her breath with her last bite, she'll just be like, man, fuck you. Just be.
Ajax doesn't skip away, but he's just like, haha, got him. as he walks away.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, you walk away, Ajax, and the rest of you are left there for another hour or so. Eventually, Commander Riku does return, and for one, he approaches you, Suni, and says, "Excuse me, Master Suni, if I'm correct in my assumption."
That's right.
Your companion, looking down towards Sultana. My condolences, of course. I know that for individuals of your status that there are ways to bring them back. Would you like us to move her to somewhere where her body will be maintained, not exposed to the elements as it is here now? You can follow us there, so you know where it is, and you're free to visit whenever you like. We just hate for, nature to take its course.
Could I carry her?
Of course. You're more than welcome to.
And yes, I think that would be good.
Very good. I will show you there. For the rest of you, I know you may not be staying here longer, as I'm sure you have much else to attend to in the world, but we have accommodated lodgings for all of you within the palace. And, Empress, there is a matter to discuss of your coronation. As of right now, there is no leader to Akai. And, Queen Damaris, the investors have been told to stay in place. They are not allowed to leave, and guards, soldiers, I trust, are preventing them from leaving. So whenever you are prepared, my men can show you where they are, and you can begin your questioning.
Thank you. I'll just continue to... I need to just check in with my council, but then... Yeah, I'd like to do that sooner than later. Thank you.
Of course. And for the rest of you, to your lodgings after the rest of these matters are attended to. Draven Hunt was staying in a room within the palace. I will have any of his personal belongings brought to your room, so you may sift through them if you so desire. Very well. The rest of you can follow. This is the secondary in command, Kinzo. He'll take you to your rooms and to the investors, and then Suni, if you would like to follow me, I'll take you to our chamber for the dead. And with that, the guards will split off. Before Commander Riku is able to leave, Suna will say, "Excuse me, Commander Riku, just one moment. For the coronation, there is one thing I would like." And he moves over to her, and she whispers something, but he nods and says, "As you wish, my Empress, it will be done." And we'll head off. You can see Suna, there's just a slight smile. But you all are led off to your rooms. I mean, they are beautiful when you arrive, comfortable. I mean, they are well maintained, and the view out of the windows is beautiful. All of the guest rooms of the palace are built into the mountainous cliffside. So every room, there is like this balcony that looks out over the sea, and you can see the trees shooting out from the cliffside with their golden bark and just brilliant green leaves that just sort of break off every once in a while and float down to the sea. It's truly breathtaking.
Oh, goodness. Do we all have like a shared, like big room with like little offshoots, or is it like we each get our own individual room? Sorry,
No,
this
you're
doesn't
good.
matter, but-
No. You do have, each of you have your own room, and each room has 2 guards posted at every single door. But sharing it, there is one large common area, but this common area has about 20 different doors connected to it. So it seems like this is an area for all guests of the Emperor or Empress to sit and talk during their downtime at court.
Are there any other guests right now? That'd be kind of awkward.
I know.
There are not.
I came to see Draven yesterday. I'm still here.
Some of the investors were here, but they were moved out before all of you were moved in.
That's proper. Thanks, guys.
They sanitize it.
They did, yeah. It is.
It has dark residue.
They prestidigitated all over that place.
Hell yeah.
But
well, once we
before all of you, sorry, not to cut you off, as you all are set up in your room, Suni, Riku will take you down to the Chamber of the Dead. You have to go down a couple flights of stairs, and then there are, same as what you had in Shiroi, those like magical elevators, the plates that just sort of sink deep, deep, deep down into the earth, till eventually it begins to cool. And as you step through, you can see in this underground area, it splits off into 2 paths. One area to your right leads into a deeper, more cavernous, almost like undisturbed place with small little shrines dotting throughout the entire hall. And then to the opposite direction leads to a much more well-maintained stony structure, the Halls of the Dead. And as you begin to walk down the hall and eventually make your way in, there are these stone tables that each have their own like individual runes on them. And as you place down Sultana, you can see those runes, the magic activates and prevents the body from decaying at all, which a lot of the times this is used just to make sure that bodies don't decay before their funeral, since funerals are a pretty big deal in this culture. But in this case, it will at least keep her body maintained before Varnast is able to return. You can see Commander Riku as you set the body down. Is there anything you do any particular when you set it down, or do you just sort of gingerly place it?
After he sets her down, he would reach around his neck and pull off just some sort of, I don't know, Suni has lots of just little like jewelry, trinkety things. Oh my god, I'm sorry, my phone just fell off my chair onto the floor, and that was horrible for me. And he'll take off like some sort of necklace with I don't know, some kind of design pendant on it, and we'll put it around her neck and kind of just stroke her cheek with his thumb like 1 or 2 times before backing away from it.
Mm-hmm. You can see Commander Riku will say, "You two were close then."
As close as 2 individuals can be. I mean, we were literally made for each other.
Oh, then I'm very sorry for your loss. I hope that whoever is able to bring them back is successful in their ritual.
He's the best, so he will be.
Well, please, if you follow me, I'll show you to your room then.
Thank you. Also, how do these elevator thing work?
I believe the short answer is magic. The long answer, I'm not sure. It's outside of my knowledge. I did not mean that to come off in any particular way. I just didn't know the.
No, it's okay. Like I all of the magic lingo, wumbo jumbo is pretty meaningless to me too. So.
Of course. Please follow me.
Dooney will lick his eye and then follow him.
All right. Commander Riku will not comment on that, and he'll leave with you and lead you out of the Hall of the Dead. And once again, you pass that that more cavernous hall with the shrines glowing different shades of purple and blue and green, leading deeper into this cavernous hall wherever it goes. But get back on the elevator and rise back up, and he leads you back.
That way.
They say it is a door to the spirit realm. I myself don't know. No one's allowed there except for the Empress or Emperor, their most trusted companions. In fact, it doesn't allow anyone else there.
Interesting. Okay. Can he see anything other than the glow, like way down there?
No, it goes a long way. You do not see anything else. You just see every once in a while these specks of color just dotting the hall.
Stoonie will just shout, "Hello!" trying to get an echo.
Hello, 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 oh, hello, 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 hello.
All right, beam me up.
It's not a beam. The elevator begins to rise. You step on it. All right. With that, eventually he leads you back to the rooms. And now all of you are reunited after getting accommodated to your lodgings. But you can see there are 20 doors in here, and each door currently has 2 guards. Not the Empress's Legion, the King's Guard, so to speak. But these are guards in here. 2 at each door, so there are currently 40 guards in here, and all of you.
Bianca actually wanted to have like a talk with Carasilla. I don't know if Carasilla wanted to because originally I was thinking it would be, kind of where Draven's body was and everything. So I don't know if that matters to Carasilla at all, but otherwise she'll also just go to her private room. So kind of what's Carasilla doing? Where's she at? Where would she, kind of be focused right now?
No, I can just be in the rooms, I feel.
Okay. Yeah, she'll knock, but yeah.
Yeah, of course she'll let her in.
I mean, what is Carasilla doing? Is she contemplative? What's up? What you up to?
I think she is just. I imagine there's really good windows in these rooms, that's that bougie shit. So yeah, I think she's just looking at the pretty trees outside, and just taking in that view. Seems like she might be thinking about something, but it's not like she's deep in thought or anything,
Yeah. Bianca will walk up next to her and look out and kind of squint her eyes at the light, but say, and then then look to Carasilla's gauntlet. I don't know if you're wearing it or if it's on a bedside table or something, but of the Children of the Flame, and say, well, I imagine of everyone, you're probably taking this revelation about the Creator the worst. Or I guess, how are you handling that?
Don't know yet. I mean, being in wherever exactly we were and hearing it was one thing, but I mean, still light out there, right?
Right.
Creation doesn't necessarily need a creator, I suppose.
Not when he's already done it, I guess, yeah.
I just don't know exactly what it means for the future of anything, really.
It does make you wonder, at least me, wonder how far we'll get without him. Even though he was actively destroying us. But I don't know. Before the Raven Queen, I didn't care much for gods. But I knew they were there and they had a purpose. And you would think his purpose was the greatest. I don't know. Admittedly, I'm taking it pretty hard, so I worried for you, somebody who dedicated your life to this first light.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen with a lot of both the Children of Flame and the Hidden Flame. I mean, there was certainly people far more devout than me. It's them I really worry about. What do you do when you not only find out that your god is dead, but your god never loved you in the first place? That your god was the thing that was actively working towards your destruction. And in some twisted way, you're fighting all along.
I mean, do you think we tell people? Because what does them knowing the truth change about what we still have to do at the end of the day?
Feels wrong to lie to them though, right?
I don't know. Feels almost equally as cruel to tell them the truth. It's like taking away a huge piece of them that they can never get back. That hope. I mean, you know better than me as one of them.
I mean, like I said, life's still going on, isn't it? I think there's still power in other places. Evidently, everything hasn't just ended here.
No.
And it's not going to be easy, obviously. It rarely is. But it can't just stop, right?
No, you're right. I mean, there are no gods. There's no creator. But the sun is out. We still breathe. Some people are just doing their daily labor. It's awkwardly mundane.
Like, I suppose reality just growing up. You know? Creator is like a parent and child. Children can still find strength without their parents. I think too many people here know that well enough.
Are you finding that strength?
I think I've always had it around me. She'll kind of give you a little nudge.
Good. Are you relieved about Draven? Or are you disappointed at how far he fell again?
I think disappointed is the better words to put it. mean, he had every chance given to him. What happened was his own doing. I think sometimes it is as simple as that.
Do you think he could have changed when he was, like you said, given every opportunity to? Do you think there's a timeline, apparently destroyed now, but a reality that he wasn't just this pawn for the dark?
I would hope so. Of course, I'd love to ask what they did different, but I don't think any of this corruption, any of it, is so set in stone. And I mean, with everything that Emerald was saying, that creation will always fall into the darkness, I still don't believe that.
No. That it can't. I will say the one thing I'm relieved about is now knowing so much better what's truly happening. I'm not as concerned about pushing I guess, that lack of balance. I'm not worried about trying to find balance in light and dark, because this isn't the kind of darkness that has balance at all. I don't know. I was worried that it was something like a pendulum or a scale we had to reweigh. Not that this is necessarily easier, but at least in my brain it feels more straightforward of what we're supposed to do. Now, how we do it, still not sure, but
I don't know, I don't think you're wrong necessarily. I mean, there's always going to be a balance between life and death. Getting rid of darkness isn't getting rid of that. Or any pain, really. Always find our own ways to be shits to each other, dark one or not. This is just a bit outside that, I think. There will still be balance, just one that can be balanced.
right. Also, to what you said earlier about Draven and wanting to know what they did different in those other timelines. You're not holding any blame for how Draven fell again, are you?
As much blame as there can be in the world itself, right?
You can't control his actions. You can't stop the Dark One when somebody is so vulnerable sometimes.
Still think we can affect one another, though. It's all little pushes and pulls. Maybe there is some combination that, like I said, gives a different outcome. Lets him come back to the light or never leave from it.
No, I agree. I think about, I guess, the fair runners. They got through to a Forsaken, and I don't know how I feel about this, but one of them, even in that fight, somehow got through to Glacia, of all people. It's not impossible. But just because it didn't happen doesn't make it your fault.
No. Suppose not. Doesn't stop it from not sucking, though.
It does.
Talking about complicated people, though. What are your plans with the investors?
Well, first I want to figure out who all is truly a dark friend and who was just playing the game of money and power. As much as they were all pieces of shit, I don't believe all of them are evil. But then from there with the others, basically hoping, kind of like you, can we get through to them? Let them know that this war they are losing, and that we want them to be there with the light and enjoy the light and the rest of reality and existence and this timeline. And I hope we do get at least some people to see their mistakes. I mean, no one's perfect. Granted, being a dark friend's a little bigger mistake than just, slipping up in a speech, but if you feel up for it, I know sometimes I can just be a little harsher than you, especially when people double down in their beliefs that I just disagree with. Do you think there's an opportunity here for you to bring some people to the light?
Can offer a hand at least. So you'll let them return to Bella Clara then?
I would.
Admit I'm glad to hear it.
We need to be better than the creator, right? Can't give up.
Excellently put then.
Well, I'll let you be with your thoughts. Come join us when you're ready.
Of course.
And yeah, she'll go ahead and leave.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So, with that, all of you sit within the common area for a while, resting and recouping. After about 4 hours, so probably right as all of you are ready to pass out and head to bed, having spent that time patching your wounds, Commander Riku will re-enter and say, "I'm sorry for barging in so late in the evening, but we've collected all of Draven's possessions if you'd like to go through them now, or it can wait until the morning. We just wanted to bring them to you as soon as we collected them."
Is there anything cool?
Yeah, you should give them here.
Okay.
We'll look through them. Thank you so much.
All right. Bring them in, and you can see there is 2 chests that are brought in. One is quite large that requires about 4 people to carry it in, and they set it down. And the other one is a smaller chest that 2 people carry in and set down.
Have these chests been checked to make sure they are not trapped?
Yes, they have.
Thank you.
I oversaw it myself. Nothing was taken from his room that is not within these chests now.
Thank you very much, Commander. We appreciate your kindness.
Of course, if there's anything else you need, let the guards in here know and they'll come find me. And, Empress, Suna, we were able to recover the item you asked for. And you can see Suna sort of light up and say, all of you can look through all of that. I won't be offended. I want to see this. And she's going to go with Commander Riku.
Love our little rock star enjoying game.
All right. But you have two chests here.
Does anything like immediately give off like an evil vibe or scent to Suni's paladin nose?
No, nothing in here gives off like corrupted magic or anything like that. You haven't opened them yet, but just from the outside, no evil vibes. Do you open the smaller one or the bigger one?
The bigger one.
The bigger one is only filled with money. It is, just because Suni has a pretty good eye for this, it's about 100,000 platinum pieces.
Yeah. Nice.
Is it just coins or is it like
It is just coins.
Holy shit, you think they would have broke this down into bars?
Suni just like picks up handfuls of coins and let them drop back into the pile.
Okay, Joe, big chest, how big? Can Cecily swim in it?
No.
Okay.
What are you, Scrooge McDuck?
I mean, dude.
No.
Anybody cast
That's $1 million gold.
So she can sleep, or so she can swim in the gold.
Sleep in the
platinum. That's
platinum.
Blanca is going to say, we should talk with Suna about using some of this to help rebuild up probably a Volcami land. I mean, really anywhere that they need. And if willing, it'd be really helpful in the Old Kingdom as well.
This is not even a real number to me, how much money this is. What can this do? Does anyone have like a ceiling on what this amount of money can do? Is this like build a whole new country money?
It's helped stimulate an economy for sure.
Wow. Economies are big.
You said there was 100,000 platinum in there?
Is that what I said, Joe?
Yeah. Suni's eye is pretty good considering his past activities. So he has a pretty good idea. It's anywhere between 90 to 110. So 100,000 platinum is a safe bet.
A milli.
Ajax opens the smaller chest.
Oh, sorry.
So what were you going to say, Cameron?
Oh, so not important, but I was just curious if these monies had like insignias or faces on them, and if this is money that's all generated here, or if it's like money from all over, or
It's from Bella Clara. You can recognize the minting and the pressing. It's all Bella Claran money, probably taken from or paid for by the investors.
Ajax opens the smaller chest.
Okay. Ajax, as you open the smaller chest, you can see it's still stuffed to the brim for sure. There are a collection of notes, sealed letters. There is a helm, a suit of like light leather armor decorated with the insignias and colors of the Children of the Flame, and Draven's cloak from his time as the member of the Children of the Flame. And a leather-bound journal that you can see within there.
Is the cloak... Did Draven hold the same station as Ajax?
He was embered. So he was higher than Ajax at his highest ranking. Draven Hunt was like one of the right-hand men of Dorian. Almer, the last individual. No. Dorian? No, after Dorian died under Hrothgar. No. After Dorian, sorry, it was so long ago. After Dorian died, there was a power vacuum and Draven became embered, and there was a chance he would have became Lightbearer had Hrothgar not stepped in.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that too.
Yeah.
And Ajax was during the Hrothgar era, right?
Yeah, the OG Hrothgar era.
Because now Hrothgar's back.
Yeah, he came back after he left because he went adventuring with Tyr. Yeah, you're part of the old, you're part of the old school, man.
Bro, I got whiplash from that lore. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's intense.
A little bit of a throwback.
Kudos to making it just as confusing as real political history.
That's what I'm all about, man.
Ajax is just gonna kind of step away from the chest and say,
Well, seems like a lot of these items would be useful to you all. Have at it.
I mean, Bianca would help Carousel, I assume, look through those notebooks and letters if there's a lot of them.
Yeah, Cecily's gonna stay back and kind of just let this be like, I don't know. She doesn't know if the Children of the Flame are gonna seize these his documents. I don't know.
Bianca's just diving in. Whatever.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I seized them. I am Children of Flame. Yeah. They've been seized.
All right.
I don't have access to the documents anymore.
Lamau.
You're not in the guest
I'll let
book.
everyone but Ajax touch them. No.
I do have a lot of them stored in my hotel somewhere, but
Of course.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, so easiest thing, the cloak. It is a cloak of the Embered. So the Cloak of the Embered gives you resistance to fire damage. And also it serves as a pretty much an insignia or a sign of status that allows you to enter the chambers of the Lightbearer. And allows you to take a seat at that table. Now, typically these are passed down through a ceremony, so that might not work if you just put it on and walk up.
Throw it on Suni.
That's so ballsy. You're just like, yep,
You just
I
show up.
belong here.
And it is not.
I think the cloak is. I think the cloak is something like Carousel, where she's not taking it to use it. She's taking it as in a we should at least respect that this is not a thing for any of us.
Doesn't require attunement though, so anybody can wear it and still get the benefit.
So is it like a super sick cloak?
Yeah, it's like on, not on fire, but it's like embered. So it's like partially on fire, and like the burn pattern is like shifting and moving as there's these pieces of cinder that are sort of floating off of it.
What's the inside look like?
The inside of the cloak?
John, you're not wearing this.
Caracel's got it. She's no one's.
Yeah, it's all right.
It doesn't say it. Just put it on, but turn it around so it doesn't have the insignia on the back. It's just really cool.
It doesn't. It doesn't have an insignia. The thing that denotes it as the embered is the shifting magical pattern where it there are these holes that you can see
the
through
whole
it.
cloak is the insignia.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit my theme, so I don't need it anyway.
I already have fire resistance, so pass.
Okay, all right.
Still was never
guess-
up for
I
grabs.
guess-
I'm just
Like, you guys are really. I don't know why we're still talking about it. Then another item that is within here is I would say Carousel, you'd probably recognize it because you're a lore person. You know this. Bianca too, probably. This is a fairly renowned magic item, a Helm of Brilliance. That pretty much gives the user, there's a number of gems and opals and rubies in the crown of the helm, or in the top of the helm, and you can pull them off and cast spells with them. It does require attunement, though.
That is cool.
want to see Cecily walking around with a helmet on.
That'd be such a weird
She's
vibe.
being such a surprise mage. Like she's already got a breastplate, and now she's got like she has a helmet too. You know.
Yeah.
Is
People are
that
gonna think
like-
she's a tiny
Come out
barbarian.
swinging. Yeah.
The helm, though, is it like medium armor, like technically, or like what kind is? What
It's just a helm. Helmets don't have armor types in D&D, so it will pretty much kind of like shift and meld.
Gate only thing I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Never
Yeah, the
mind.
Helm of Brilliance, I mean, in its current state right now, it looks like a plate armor helm, but when you put it on and attune to it, it'll sort of shift and change to something that is fitting of your style and aesthetic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My headgear slot is already full.
Yeah, no, same.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it later. What's up next?
Then, like you guys will have time. There is also a set of armor, like I said, that was Draven's Children of the Flame armor, specifically the armor he wore as an Embered. Now, this armor was made for him, but it doesn't hold any, like, wearing the armor doesn't give you any status. So it is currently decorated in the style of the Children of the Flame, the whites, golds, and reds. But it is sort of like a piecemeal studded leather set. And it is, this one's a little bit harder to identify, but we'll say eventually Suna returns and is able to identify it for you. This is, sorry, I literally just had the tab. This is anti-magic armor. So while wearing this armor, you can use your reaction to give yourself advantage on a saving throw you make against a spell. Once this property is used, it can't be used again until the next dawn. And in addition, while you wear this armor, you can cast anti-magic field, requiring no spell components. Once this property has been used, it can't be used until the next dawn. It does require attunement, though. And it is studded leather.
That's not bad.
Then there is a journal, leather-bound journal. There are 3 sealed letters and 1 scroll wrapped in a ribbon with the insignia of the light of Nabir Tarman.
Yeah, that's the shit I ain't touching.
Yeah, I'm opening the shit out of those though.
Okay, what are you going with first? The letters, the journal, or the scroll?
We'll go with the scroll first, because that feels, the quickest, and we'll work our way down to the journal,
Okay.
Scroll, letters, journal.
All right, sounds good. So,
I want to read his diary. So bad, but still.
Dear diary, Carousel was so mean to me yesterday.
So, this scroll is a scroll of last rites, specifically one that Carousella would recognize. This was one that was meant for Children of the Flame to say if they knew their death was coming, to sort of give them absolution in the eyes of the Creator. So you can see it was written by hand. He wrote this himself, and the rite reads, "O Creator of all, hear my plea. The light within me, your gift, burns away the shadow. Even if I am to be taken by it, allow me to join your great flame and kindle the world anew. Guide this soul to the realms beyond, grant me peace, and let me be a part of your eternal light to burn brightly in the darkness." Which, boop-a-doop. Post that in the chat just in case, you guys want to pray to the dude you just killed.
I know. I was like, this didn't age well, did it?
But it's like, is it, because I'm just like, this is a weird thing for him to have, but is this some twisted way of being like, secret dark friend, because like, I go back to the Creator, that's actually the dark one.
Maybe. He knew all along. That's why he joined Children of Flame. He's like, they don't even know.
It's like not being religious your entire life and right as you're about to die. Accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, just as just in case,
Oh, well.
Yeah. That's the first one. Opening the next letter, Carousella.
Hell yeah.
All right. This one also has an insignia of the Children of the Flame, but within it, placed in the middle, is a dragon head. As you open it, it is a letter Draven wrote to Hrothgar. The letter says, Hrothgar, your faith in me was misplaced. The fire within me has turned to ash. I curse the day you cleansed me, for it did nothing to delay the inevitable. You will see the darkness you tried to expel consume everything. This is your fault as much as it is mine. Next one.
Yeah.
You crack this one open. This one is addressed to Dorian. Now, Draven knew Dorian was dead at this point. You can tell from the date of the letter. All of these are dated rather recently, since Draven came to Akai. Dorian, you were the only one who saw my potential, who believed in my strength. I'm sorry I couldn't uphold the ideals you cherished. The power I sought led me down a path of darkness, one I cannot escape. I wish I could have made you proud, Draven.
So, like, these are dated. How recently are they dated?
These ones are dated within the past week. These two specifically.
Rough.
Okay. Then the third letter. As you crack this one open, the handwriting is much more erratic. It is much more chaotic. He's seemingly falling apart. This one is dated this morning. So, right before all of you arrived, after your, after the rest, after Draven, after Desmond's fight. This one is addressed to you, Carasilla. I write this with a heart heavy with fury and sadness, a burden I cannot bear any longer. You dared to give me hope, a fragile light in the abyss that was my soul. For a moment, I believed I could change, that I could resist the darkness that clawed at my being, but I was a fool. Every time I looked to you, I saw the person I could never be. Your faith, albeit brief, in me was a cruel jest, a reminder of my failures. I hate you for that. I hate you for making me believe in a possibility that was never mine to grasp. You ignited a spark in me, only for it to be smothered by the shadow that defines my existence. You will never understand the torment of feeling, of your soul being torn apart, the relentless pull of the abyss. I wanted to be better, to rise above the darkness, but I wasn't strong enough. Truthfully, I am sorry, Carasilla. I am sorry that I couldn't be the better person you saw in me. I am sorry that I couldn't be better.
I think, like, with all of the, like, things she's been, like, just scrolling through, should have, like, placed each of them kind of, like, I guess, back into the chest, you know, keep them all together. But with that one, she will fold that and chuck it in one of her cloak's pockets.
Okay. And then the journal. So most of the journal is, in the beginning, it is just, you know, military strategy lingo, him talking about tactics and attack patterns and things, things he would do on various battlefields and things he remembers doing in various encounters that were successful, sort of keeping a playbook, so to speak, of what worked. But there is a blank spot. There is mention of a potential battle at Wheat Hill, and there's a large gap in date after that. About a month and a half. This one reads, it's been months since Hrothgar. The cleansing was painful, but I suppose necessary. I can feel the sickness inside me gnawing at my soul, but Hrothgar's eyes, they held hope. He believes I can be better, that I can change. Carasilla, she saw me in Periton. It sparked memories. I could see the doubt in her eyes, but also maybe a glimmer of belief. Perhaps she saw something in me that was worth saving. I need to hold on to that. I'm sick. I know it. But maybe, just maybe, I can rid myself of this darkness. I want to change, to be better. The fire within me can burn away the corruption, can't it? Next one is a few more weeks away. Seems his writing became more infrequent towards the end. Chaos. The only word to describe what happened. We were on our way to Bromsgrove when the Goliaths were ambushed by dark creatures, maggot-skinned men that clung to the shadows. Blade Masters they were. I hid, but they saw me. I know they saw me. Before they attacked me, the Loyalists arrived. Attacking the Blade Masters, and the commanding officer was killed in the fray. I saw an opportunity. I emerged from the bushes, I grabbed the commander's sword, and I killed one of those Blade Masters. A surge of power filled me as the soldiers looked upon me with pride, admiration, and a willingness to follow. The voice in my head begging for absolution was quiet that day. Present, but quiet. Their destination was Maester. The same as Carasilla's. Perhaps I can... You can see the page trails off in incomplete, incoherent thoughts. Scrawling, as if he didn't know what to write, and his brain and his hand didn't agree on what was being written. It continues later on down the page. Parts of my memory have returned. I like this feeling, this power. I swayed them with words I barely recognize as my own. I told myself I would use this power to help. Help who? Myself? Or others? I'm not sure yet. The third entry. Emerald. That name will haunt me forever. His touch corrupted me, twisted my purpose. Flashes of truth and purpose flood my mind. Hrothgar, Carasilla, Morwen, they all deserve death, don't they? For never seeing my true value, my power. At least the shadow does. Or am I being used? It doesn't matter. It doesn't. It doesn't. The shadow whispers of a promise of power, of vengeance, and I feel it coursing through my veins, the fire within me twisted into something dark. The voice in my head is louder, but not begging for absolution. It's urging me on. Toward a path. Toward the path I thought I didn't want to walk. But I do want power, and I do want them to pay. And then the final entry in the journal. You can see the handwriting is very inconsistent, matching one of the handwriting on the letter addressed to Carasilla. They've docked in Opokami, the Wanderers, Carasilla among them. I know that they'll kill Desmond and free Ara, and I should feel anger, fear, something. Instead, I feel... Trails off. Did I choose wrong? Was jumping from those bushes, claiming that power, was it a mistake? I have no choice now. I must either die and be free, or kill and embrace the darkness. There is no in-between for me. My soul is unclean. I am not worthy of that fire within me. I am not worthy of life. But power I am worthy of. I will take the throne, and if I win, I will make those pay who denied me. Or was there a different path? And those are the last words written in the journal.
Yeah, I mean, I think after reading it, all Carasilla can really do is just sit there for a long,
Did he say anything about Dark One, or did he know anything about the creator?
Oh, I'm so sorry. There was one final thing, and I mentioned it before, but I skipped over it in my notes here. There was a map in there as well.
Oh man.
Hmm.
Sorry for my yawns. Oh my goodness.
So it is a map of the Salamander Coast, and detailed in Bella Clara, Brahmsgrove, and Adarashi, there are 7 different locations. A symbol of the children of the flame, but painted in like a dark purple ink.
Interesting.
On all 7 locations?
Yeah, there's only 7 places marked here. And all
And they all
7
have the same symbol?
Yeah, they all have the same symbol.
Same. I was like,
I mean, I guess it's like a larger map if it's all of Salamander, but are we able to tell, like, more exactly where they are?
Yeah, so there are 2 in Adarashi, 2 in Brahmsgrove, and 3 in Bella Clara. Individual locations within one of the Bella Clara ones is in Summer's Rest. The other is in Belka, and then there is one in Maester. Brahmsgrove, there is one on the north side by the tower, Nabir Tarman. And then there is another one on the by the docks. And then in Adarashi, there is one on Opokami and one on Akai.
Looking,
oh, go for it.
I mean, looking at the map, can we ascertain anything else from it, like specifics of why these things are there?
No.
Bianca was going to ask both Carousel and Ajax, are these like known to be places that either the Hidden Flame or Children of the Flame like gather? Like, are you guys familiar? I mean, besides like the Tower of Nabir Tarman, obviously.
Is there anything to that, Joe?
Carousel and Ajax both you make history checks. I'll say Carousel, make yours with advantage because you were in the children more recently.
Yeah, my old geezer. Ooh, God, fucking shit.
You're really old.
One too many head wounds, Ajax.
Ajax is just
like, not ringing any bells.
Crazy.
Man.
With a 20, though, a dirty 20, these are all of them, the ones in, not all of them, sorry, the ones in Brahmsgrove and Adarashi, they were 2 cells, or I guess 4 cells total, that were locations of like Children of the Flame cells, where they would go and they would restock when they were out on like missions or expeditions. The 3 in Bella Clara, though, there used to be a cell within Summer's Rest, but as far as Carasilla knew, that wasn't the case anymore. Definitely wasn't one in Maester, but there was a small one in Belka. So the Maester one is a little confusing, and Summer's Rest, that one's not an official one. It's, been long abandoned. But all of them, except for Maester, are cells to a degree.
Yeah, we should share that. Might not exactly be Children of the Flame, but They were setting up strongholds of their own, I suppose.
We may find something there. Maybe we can check them out. I don't know when we would.
No, I think that's a great idea. I mean, if Draven had this information for some reason, that was either, you know what, not either, most likely a bad thing.
99.9% probably a bad thing.
Yeah.
Investors might know something too. I guess the question is if we even want to bring it up to them in case they don't.
I doubt the investors are going to be willing to give us their dark secrets.
I mean, if it's really a road we want to go down to, they don't exactly need to be willing.
I agree. But I do think that we have dealt with enough evil today.
Well, hey, between where all these 7 dots are, we now are in cahoots with 2 entire governments. So I think we could pretty easily delegate some people to go check these out. At least that part's not hard.
The only thing I'm apprehensive about in that area is that both of those governments are actively trying to rebuild and restabilize. But
And we'd be putting anybody who we send there possibly in danger.
yes. But it could be a conversation. But we could also take a look and see if this is something worthwhile for specifically us to go investigate. I wonder, maybe it's not even worth looking into, but...
Well, the vault does open in 2 years, so we do have some time.
This is true.
There is that. And hey, if things go well over in Jormungandry, we'll have 3 governments worth of people.
And I wouldn't mind sending Thor and those individuals into these places. They could handle themselves.
I think one of my big things I would like to work on is establishing a solid relationship with the Old Kingdom and Ptolemyr. So, 4, baby.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
We know Laufey and Loshar. 5.
That's not a government. Those are just dragons.
Yeah, it's Laufey though.
We know Aura.
Oh, Laufey, yeah. I thought you meant Lo, like the dragon for some.
I mean, they can help too.
We're planning on talking to the investors tomorrow, correct?
I don't think I have the energy for it tonight. Does everybody want to be there? I know, Caracilla, you were up for it, but I didn't know if this was a conversation everyone wanted to be there for.
I would like to be there.
That is just up to you, my queen. Is there any help the master builder can provide?
The help I think I need is admittedly, I'm going to come out the gate pretty harsh on them. I would like people to help keep balance and help figure out who's being truthful, who's really repenting, and who is not. And what we should do with the people who are not. If they're still a dark friend, they're still a dark friend. I guess we have to just balefire them, but that feels really politically not... It looks bad.
Does look bad.
I think if we are able to ascertain if any of them are dark friends, we should imprison them. And then decide what to do with them later. If we balefire one of them in front of the others, it's going to send a very bad message.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to be feared.
By dark friends? A little bit. By people? No. No, yeah, it's just hard when everything is, you're just still trying to get people to know who you are and how you want to operate things. You can leave a really strong impression really fast.
I think that we should all get some rest and prepare for our talks tomorrow with them. Sleep on it. Think about the questions you want to ask. But as of now, my legs are about to give out from underneath me.
Bed, for sure.
I have one last order of business for everybody before we go to bed. Suni here thought I wouldn't know the word simulacrum.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it. Why could neither of
Are
you
you
say
sure it's
it?
not Slimmeracrum?
I'm so sure.
No, it's definitely simulacrum.
We didn't bet anything, but I would have won that bet. Just wanted to say that out loud.
Oh, whatever. Double or nothing on the next one.
I'm going to bed.
Me too.
Ajax
Grumpily.
all the way back to bed.
Okay.
Gonna sleep like a baby.
Okay.
Even though we've been staying in Carousel Sanctum, so we've actually been sleeping pretty well lately anyway.
Yeah, we've been doing fine.
I think it's relatively stress-free sleep. I think that's the.
That's true. That's true. There's no like, oh my god, is a dark one here? Like,
yeah.
Did Carousel get kidnapped? Actually, you know what? I feel like trauma sleep would make sense after everything they went through anyway. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I
Play
trauma sleep and I just like have a normal life. So I mean,
So what we're gonna do is as all of you head to rest, you can hit the long rest button. No, nothing bad's gonna happen. We're gonna take just a quick 5-minute break. So let's be back at 30, and then we'll have 30 more minutes of session, and then we'll end there. But I just want to get a quick break in since we started a little late. All right, but a quick one, 5 minutes. All right, be right back.
To finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item. during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this damage!
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do, and so do I. I believe that until proven guilty, every man, woman, and child in this country is innocent.
Now it's left to me to deal with him. You can't. If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
But for now, we're going to look at a slightly different system that doesn't just affect the moment of death, but the moments before death. Something that makes combat more grounded, horror more horrifying, and sacrifices all the more heroic. Picture a movie fight scene between a hero and villain. They're clashing blades, dancing back and forth, parrying, dodging, blocking, keeping up with each other's advances, surprising each other with new techniques and strategies, until finally, one of them lands a devastating blow. It's not just a graze on the arm, it's not just a smack on the chest. It's 0 HP. When using the point of no return system, we want to draw attention to this moment of the fight, to make that hit extra cinematic and weighted and affect the decisions that your players are going to make when they are given that critical choice of staying down or getting up.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
So with that, let's go ahead and dive into our first build, the level 5, Blighted Warden.
In the shadowed underbrush of the ancient forest, where the line between decay and growth blurs, the Blighted Warden moves unseen. A spectral guardian at the crossroads of life and death, melding the Gloomstalker's mastery of darkness with the Circle of Spores' eerie command over fungal life. They are the embodiment of nature's unchecked, wild ferocity. With each arrow knocked from their twisted, spore-infested bow, they strike with the precision of night and the inevitable spread of decay. A silent protector of the natural order's darker, untamed side.
So there we go. There's our thematic intro.
I have to finish the story.
Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard? Why isn't it possible?
It's just not.
Why not, you stupid bastard?
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is done so well. But here's the thing. It grows to be more in depth. The spirit world becomes a thing, and it grows even more in depth after that. More layers get added on more layers, right? Not everybody in the Earth Kingdom is good. Not everybody in the Water Tribes. They're not all underpowered, right? Because the Northern Water Tribe is so strong. And not everybody in the Fire Nation is evil. The layers continue to be added the longer the story goes on. In your campaign, do that. Most people have a hard time starting a campaign because they don't know where to start. They think they need 7 kingdoms, hundreds of houses, thousands of NPCs. No! Stop! You don't need that. What you need is one town, one place, 4 or 5 NPCs, and an inciting incident.
What a joke. I worked my ass off to get where I am. And you take these shortcuts and you think suddenly you're my peer? You do what I do because you're funny and you can make people laugh? I committed my life to this.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
In this video, we're going to talk about secondary objectives, a way to make your combat encounters spicy, delicious, fantastic. Secondary objectives enhance combat in D&D to an exponential degree. Let's go ahead and dive into number 10. Rescue missions. Task your players with rescuing an NPC or retrieving an item during combat. It will help add layers of urgency and potentially even a moral dilemma. My favorite example of this is instead of sending the players to kill the goblin camp that may raid the village, right? That's a consequence. Sometimes that's good enough. The goblins abducted the blacksmith. And now they need to save the blacksmith and kill the goblins. It's a secondary objective that spices things up.
You people should be thanking Christ that I am who and what I am because you need me. You need me to save you. You do. I am the only one who possibly can. You're not the real heroes. I'm the real hero.
Holy, look at all this dead.
We're back. Picking up where we left off, our group of adventurers had some emotional chats with one another, and on top of that, started the resolution of the past 30-some sessions of the Salamander Coast, and eventually it culminates in this: the ascension of Suna to the Akai throne, and our brave companions finally getting a moment to rest before who knows what happens next. So, as all of you head to rest, like I said, goes fine. No nightmares, a little trauma, but you know, no outside force is influencing it.
May I do something before the next morn, perhaps?
Yes, you may, please.
Sorry, I didn't want to
Not
keep
with that
going, 'cause I was
voice.
like, man.
Madam Strufflepop, that's the name of your character that you just did. I want you to know.
Strufflepop.
You're welcome. It's quick, I promise. I just before going to bed, Carousel wanted to open up her sanctum real quick. First thing of order, the flame's still there?
It's weak, but it's still there.
Okay. Second point of order, she would like to write out a letter, and send it into the fire to all Hidden Flame people if she can. And just on it, she'll have written, the creator is dead. Seems he has long since abandoned us. Reality his creation. Further still, seems it was Emerald. I don't know if there's much or anything left of him really, or if there should be. I also don't know what this means for the future, the tower or anything. But life still seems to go on. It's a sure enough sign that we all should do as well. Yeah, so she'll send that in, spend some time with the Kutoa, and then she'll go to sleep.
Mother!
Hell yeah, they have a jam session. It's so fucking sick.
Are you in the sanctuary right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the
is
answers have to do it, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Well, Suni wants to talk to Carasilla, so like if he can hear like the music happening,
I guess she just
or
leaves the
I
door
don't
open.
know, or
Fucking
I
rocks
mean
and
catching her
shit.
back on the way. I'm sorry, Joe. I just real quick to do one other thing with this. Don't
apologize. It's okay. Do things.
Sorry. Oh,
no
I'm
talking.
sorry. No.
Why do you keep apologizing?
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry for retracting this jam session.
Okay. Suni will approach Carasilla. And I don't know if this is like on her way back from hanging out with the Kuotoa, or if the door is open and he can hear some of the music. But he'll approach her and just say, hey, can I ask you something real quick?
Of course. Ask away.
So first of all, I need to ask is, do you think life is worth living if it's not hard?
I mean, it's nice when it's not. I don't
fair.
think. I don't think it being soft at all makes it any less worth it. You know.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, well, anyway, the real reason I wanted to chat with you is that I've been thinking about Sultana, and I know that when Varnast comes back, we're going to have to perform some sort of ritual to try to bring her back, and one of the gifts I want to give her involves her and I's dance, if you will. And I was wondering if you would compose a piece of music to accompany it.
I'd be honored.
Okay.
Maybe sometime tomorrow we can start working things out. Admit I'm not too familiar with the dance.
Yeah, I can show you, and it'll be great. I know it, because you're the best.
I mean, the Kuotoa could help as well.
Oh, I'd be honored. Okay, well.
What are these sounds?
Yeah, the Kuotoa will help. It means a lot to me.
Better than you'd think.
Really? Well, you know, I'm excited
When
to
they're
hear
in
them.
the Rhythm Buffet.
Gotta
Like
play
I
in
said,
the
we can
pocket,
work
I
things out
suppose.
later.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up before it was too late. I don't know how long it takes to do something like that. Probably not long when you're good at it.
I don't know, I don't normally compose too often, but we'll see.
Thank you. That was it.
Right. Have a good night then.
Yeah, you too. I hope a weight is off your shoulders after today. I know it's probably replaced with a new one, but I'm proud of you for making it through and getting through that.
Thanks. Okay, we need weights to keep us grounded, right?
Exactly.
Good night, Suni.
All right, well, good night, Carasilla.
Okay. All right. So. Carasilla, when you excuse me, when you wake up in the morning, there is a myriad of pieces of parchment that have come out of the brazier, which flame has dwindled even more now from what it was when you entered. And the most recent one, all the ones that came before it, are individuals with no names, just words on parchment from other sanctums, arguing, proclaiming, disagreeing, until eventually one final one emerges and calls for a meeting between all members of the Hidden Flame at Brahmsgrove at the Tower of Nabir Tarman on the 19th of Leaffall, which is the same day as the holiday Paylor's Rest. All of the messages stopped after that.
I mean, what was the general, strokes of what the discourse was, though?
Either people disagreeing with you, saying that's not possible, or individuals saying that, going as far as to say is what you were saying was heresy. But then there were others that saying they could feel it. They feel the light dwindling. And they had heard word of a man looking very similar to Emeril doing dark deeds. Some disagree, some call you a heretic, others agree with you and say it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, she'll obviously make note of the date. Put in a little schedule.
Okay. Alrighty. Sounds good to me. So, the rest of you wake up, you come to, and you prepare yourself for the day ahead. So, Suna will gather all of you that morning and will say,
I just wanted to thank all of you for everything. I know you didn't need to, but I'm just very thankful that all of you came all this way and did all of this, and that you were there to support me the entire way. And, well, I am sorry to say that I think this is where our adventuring together ends. My coronation is in 2 weeks, and I would love it if all of you would return to Akai to be there for it. I wouldn't be here without you.
Suna, I wouldn't miss that for the world. And I understand needing to be with your people to establish everything and rebuild. So, adventuring without you will suck, but I understand. But yeah, I'll be there. And I mean, come on. Our kingdoms are gonna be such allies. We're gonna be constantly talking to each other all the time. So don't worry about that.
of course, delegates every day.
We'll miss you, Suna. And I'm really proud of you for getting through what you needed to say yesterday, regardless of the circumstances. And you're gonna do great things.
You are too, Suni. With that, if there is nothing else, Suna will stay around, but constantly throughout the day, there are people coming to speak with her, to commune with her, ask her opinions on things. I mean, it is a busy time. The final thing she does say before she's pulled away, finally for a longer stretch of time, is also the investors paid a great deal of money to the coffers of Akai City. We have all that we need, and then some. I am told that there was a great deal of wealth found in Draven's supplies. All of that's yours to keep, whether it be to Bella Clara or to your own personal stores. I'm sure you'll find something good to do with the money. Adarashi doesn't need it.
Are you sure? What about Opokami? It seems like they're going to need a lot of help.
Well, the people of Shiroi are already ready to help me, and Akai will follow as I command it. And before we can even start to rebuild, the land needs to heal first. Who knows how long that'll take. We have time to save up the money, and we have quite a bit of gold. A lot of gold in the vaults. I think we'll manage.
Okay, then. Well, between the rest of us here, I'm sure we can put that to good use.
Yeah, we can each get our own share of the money and then put it wherever we want. Sound good, guys?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Me as well.
I will also say, looking to you, Suni, I received word from Varnast this morning. He made some requests for the ceremony, and I had those established in a temple just outside of the palace. He said he would be there by midday, so good luck. I hope she's returned to you.
Thank you. I'm hopeful and optimistic that she will.
Suna smiles and then will give the rest of you a slight nod of her head and a slight bow, and she will exit the room, escorted out by Commander Riku. So with that, all of you, unless there's anything else, will head towards the, you'll have a few hours to rest, but then we'll head towards the temple.
To the investors? Is that what you said?
I would prefer to do the
do that.
investors during downtime sessions.
Cool.
And I'd
that
prefer
works.
to end the session with the resurrection.
Okay, I misunderstood. I misheard what you were saying.
No, you're good. Yeah, to the temple, not to the dungeons.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Says Swasthya Simulacrum is going to ask Suni. From what I've seen of these rituals before, we usually need 3 offerings, right?
I think so. I actually had something I wanted to ask for you to do that you could help me with. So, I don't know if you had been there to see it, but Sultana and I have this dance that has existed for as long as the two of us have, apparently. And it has evolved into almost a martial version of it. It's fighting and dancing at the same time. But Carasilla offered to compose some music to go with it, and I was wondering if I could teach you the dance and if you would dance with me. We could do a simple version of it, one that's just dancing.
Well,
but if you had something else in mind, you could also do that too.
No, I didn't have anything in mind. I don't know if I'm as much of a dancer as BB Lestrange over here. But I mean,
whoever would want to, I don't care.
I mean,
it
when you
won't be
say
hard.
dance,
I promise. Very simple. I'm gonna simplify it. I'm gonna turn. I'll show you, and we're gonna turn it into very simple stuff.
well, if you think I'm the guy, I guess. Do you want me?
I would
Is
love
this like
for you
a
to dance
character
with me.
thing?
Huh?
Well, we're like performing the dance. So do you want me to like, I can use some
No,
magic. I can
no.
be a
No,
dancer
that's okay.
guy.
No, it should be you, and it will be everything that it needs to be. It doesn't need to be flashy.
So you're just giving me Sultana's part, and I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I'll lead you.
I'm gonna do the dance that your soulmate does. Gross.
A
It's
version
okay.
of it.
No, it's fine. It's gross, but it's fine.
I mean, Cecily, as much as Sultana is my soulmate in that way, God, I think the gods put us on this earth to be next to each other, and I wouldn't want it to be with anyone else. No one has bothered me or made me upset or made me feel loved or cry or laugh as much as you, and I'd love for you to dance with me.
I mean, if you're gonna put it like that, okay. We can do it.
Thank you.
Just, if I have 2 left feet and the whole thing goes wrong, don't blame me.
You won't. You'll be perfect. You just got to follow my lead.
Okay.
I mean, when you think about it, if anything, if it's less than perfect, that's probably better. Gives her all the more reason to come back.
That's what we'll do. Goad her into coming back. Like I did with Ajax.
Fuck up the dance.
Or I have one other offering to give. I have one offering to give, and I hope she will take the song and the dance as the second two.
I mean, with that Varnas guy being the one casting the spell, I think we have a good shot at this.
I feel really good about it.
Okay.
I'm still anxious, but I feel good.
Cecily will prepare to tango.
Have like practice intensives in the sanctum.
All right. So, with that, after a little bit of practice, a little bit of brainstorming of the music, after a few hours, you settle on what you think is best. You head out into the city of Akai and head to the temple just outside the palace.
Now, the palace itself has this river that comes down both sides, creating this moat of this already almost impenetrable fortress. You cross a small bridge, and right outside the palace is this large, multi-tiered temple. You can see within there are these waterfalls that descend down from the top, causing this like cataclysm of rainbows to clash with each other. And in the middle is a small lake, a small pond. No fish swim within it, just stones and the reflective colors of the water. And within the palace, seemingly just having arrived, all of you see the cleric that fought beside you just the day prior, Varnast Halmaru. The stern older man with just fringes of gray in his beard and his hair looks to all of you with a stern face and says,
I'm very glad that all of you got here on time. Are you ready?
Yes, and thank you for doing this.
Of course. Suni, I would ask that you place Sultana's body within the water.
So you place it in the water, and it slowly begins to sink to the bottom. And he looks to you and says,
You'll need 3 offerings. Due to your bond, I think it might be possible if all 3 come from you. But if they're from others as well, that's all right too.
Okay, I have a team effort that we're going to try.
All right. My only request is, the offer you give should be last, as it will be your will that attempts to pull her back to this world, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And with that, you see him, he raises his hands up towards the sky. And you can see there is this hole in the center of the roof that allows sunlight to come through. But you can see the entirety of Akai. As he begins to cast the 9th level spell, True Resurrection, you can see the clouds begin to shift to gray. Thunder and lightning can be heard in the distance, and rain begins to fall.
And as the rain begins to fall, the entire floor of this temple begins to flood.
Until there is this puddle covering the entire floor of the temple. It's probably about a foot thick. So all of you are up to maybe your calves, or a little bit lower or higher than that, standing in this water. As he casts the spell, his eyes begin to glow, and he takes a step up. And he steps atop the water. And he walks towards where Sultana's body is and stands at right above where her head is, and continues to raise his hands up towards the sky, murmuring this ancient language, primordial. And Cecily, you would recognize it. They are like reverential prayers to Astitia as the rain continues to fall. He stops for a moment and looks to you and says,
You may begin.
And continues to chant as the rain falls. And you can see small threads of gold and blue magic begin swirling down and moving towards the pond where Sultana's body is around those waterfalls.
Suni will take a step forward and, looking down towards where Sultana is, will say, Sultana, my love, my beginning and my ending, I present to you these 3 gifts that you might return to us. First is a song made specially for you and me by only the world's greatest gleeman. And he will give a nod to Carasilla.
She'll nod back and she'll start the drone.
Carasilla, as you begin to play the song, what type of music does Carasilla begin to play? Like, what's the vibe of what she's playing in honor of their love, of their partnership?
I think the start of it's not going to be the whole of what they kind of composed yesterday. I think a lot of that will come in once Cecily, joins Suni in the dance.
Okay.
So I imagine the beginning, it's kind of like, it's like almost like a fugue or whatever, where it's like there's these 2 parts of the melody and they're meant to come together to form the whole, but there's only the one playing at the moment. So it's not like it's disjointed, it's just slightly off, slightly wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, and like I said, that will change once Cecily is able to put in her bit as well.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So you continue to play, sort of half droning, playing half of that melody, waiting for the opportune moment to begin to play the other half. So then, Suni and Cecily, you begin the dance?
Yeah, and Suni will say, for the second offering, I give you this new version of our dance. One that I hope to dance with you for the rest of our lives. And he will pull or give a hand to Cecily, and we'll take her in and give like a dancer bow or whatever. You don't have to curtsy back or anything.
She likely will not. What she will do is also in primordial, the sort of imprecise language it's being. She's just going to, in the air dialect, say a prayer to the primordial energy and gods that are here to give her precision and grace in this moment. And then she'll go ahead and join the dance just quietly and reverently.
Okay. Cecily and Carasilla, as the 2 of you begin, and as you see Cecily begin to dance Carasilla and you begin to fill in the melody, I'd like both of you to make performance checks with advantage.
Nice.
Okay. 45
Wow.
from Carasilla. Woo.
Ouch.
And a 14 from Cecily. Carasilla, the melody that you play is transcendent. You now know where the Kuatoa learned how to play such beautiful music from. As the melodies that you spin and weave are unparalleled to anything any of you have ever heard before, a true masterful performance that even the water begins to sing with the music that Carasilla plays. Cecily, you dance and you move, and it is strange for you. You're not used to this. It's hard in places to match the pacing correctly, but there is you get caught up in the feeling of it has to be perfect. Until there's this moment where, Suni, you see her stressing, focusing much, much, much too hard. Do you say anything to her in that moment?
Yeah, he'll, say, hey, look up here. Meet my eyes. And just feel it. Like magic. Like the weave.
Cecily, with that, as you do, with Suni's help and feeling the music Carousel plays and the magic in the air, you step. You move. While it isn't perfect, you do so freely, as if casting a spell. And eventually, the dance comes to its finale. Carosilla, the music slowly fades, and all of you can see these what were just simple water droplets falling near her form begin to coalesce in strings. Light blue threads that tie around her arms and chest and head that slowly begin to lift her out of the water. As even with a 14, still enough to succeed. And obviously Carosilla's 45 succeeds. That's 2 successes. And as the dance concludes, Barnass looks to you, Suni, and says,
Step forward and beckon her back to us all.
He'll give a nod and step forward, and I think he would kneel down in the water, and he will, holding his bag of holding in both of his hands, he'll kind of, with his telekinetic abilities, reach into it, and both of his old tiger hook swords are gonna raise out of the bag of holding and just kind of spin around him very, very slowly until they kind of reach back down into both of his hands. And he's gonna say, Sultana, these blades committed atrocities. And they are the last thing that ties me to the person who I used to be. 2 precision, deadly, but beautiful items that dance together. Sultana, the river, and Suni, the mountain, in perfect harmony. But I laid them to rest, and for them to help you come here, and that I promise, I am not forsaken. I will not be forsaken again, and I will not forsake you. And he will hold both of them flat in his hands and just set them in the water and let them sink down.
Suni, I'd like you to make a persuasion check with advantage.
Maybe. Persuasion. Oh, that's weird.
That is a 40. It's going to be a success, believe it or not. So, Suni, as the swords sink below, you can see Sultana's hands begin to move. Some life is returning as she slowly grips on to the blades. Her soul wants to return. We'll see if it does. You can see her hands let go of the blades. But they slowly begin to rise up towards you. Do you reach out?
Of course.
As you reach out and grip her hands, and you don't pull.
you almost meld together, as there is just this equal share of energy between the two of you. She rises from the water, and the two of you begin to float in the air and begin to spin and twist, entangling within the threads of souls and time and magic. The two of you coil together, two halves of the same whole. As you can see, Sultana's eyes open. The first thing that she sees is you. You see, she smiles deeply and embraces you as the two of you swirl in the air. And as the two of you come together, both of you get this flash. Two draconic spirits, old as time, weaving together and weaving apart, as eventually you swirl back down to the ground, as the true resurrection ceremony has been successful. The rain begins to stop, and the water leaves this place. Leaving just the small puddle, the small pond that the two of you now stand within, as she grips the sides of your maw, being the dragonborn you are, and says, "I was afraid I'd never see you again, Suni. But you came back for me. You brought me back."
I was afraid too. I saw what happened, and I couldn't get to you. But I will always come back.
And I will always be by your side. From this day until my last.
It's really good to see you again.
And once again, the two of you will embrace. This moment of happiness, bliss, reunion. Suni and Sultana wrapped up in their moment together, unaware of what's happening outside. The rest of you can see Varnast, though. He sort of grips at his chest and his hands in pain. And sort of shakes his head and says, "Well, I'm sorry to depart so soon, but the Forerunners need me, so I must rest. Their companion Zevran also fell in the fight." I am. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. It just takes a lot.
Varnast, I am forever in your debt. If you ever need anything, and I know that you will likely not need much from me, but you have an ally for life.
Suni, I had a feeling that before all this, I still did. Part of the reason why I did it. And he'll kind of clap you on the shoulder. And with a smile, he'll nod. And to the rest of you, he'll sort of grip at his hands once again and squeeze them. And
does he seem like he's fibbing a little bit about this just taking a lot out of him? Does it look like worse than he's letting on?
Yeah, sure. Make an insight check. Bianca, you also asked, so you can make one too. As he gripped his hands once again.
Too bad my insight.
Oh, did you ask that? Sorry.
It's okay.
My
You can
insight's all-
join me. Please join me. I got a 10. Oh shoot, we really
Womp
out
womp.
here not knowing what's going on.
Womp
Right
womp.
over our
It was
heads.
fine to me.
Yeah. I would say for the two of you, I mean, it's strange. I mean, he is a hardened warrior. I mean, even before he was an adventurer, he was a pirate hunter. So he's had a tough life, but he seems to be fine. You know, it does seem like the spell took a lot out of him. Carasilla, though, with a passive insight of 22, you can see there is something deeper, and it is exacerbated by the fact that, Carasilla, you feel a pain in the gauntlet that you wear. The one that was a gift from Dorian.
Wait, sorry. When you say exacerbated by it, do you mean like I could see that it might like be something just connected with the gods or something? Like, is it like it seems like a similar...
Yeah, the look on his face, like that sort of twinging of pain, you can tell that he's trying to hide something because you feel a similar pain coming from the gauntlet.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, before he tries to head out or anything, she will just openly say, no sense in hiding anything if it could be useful. Please, Vana.
The truth? I don't know. But after talking with Samir and Alec, after bringing Torin back, I've only ever felt something like this once before. In the fight against Korvac. There was a brief moment where we were on the verge of losing, and the ancestral powers that were there, they sapped us, me especially, of my ability to bring people back. Luckily, we were able to stop Korvac, but I'm afraid that with the death of...
And you see there's this almost like venom for a moment where he almost says something else, but he says,
the Creator. I can feel divinity. It's fading. I don't know how many people will be able to be brought back after Zevran, if any at all. Whatever is in store for us, I don't know if that's the case, but we need to proceed with caution. If it is.
And well, forgive me for asking, but the one you worship is Tishias?
Correct.
Are they...
Yes. The seas have grown still. The tide is
Sorry to hear that.
no more. Not everything is lost, though. I still have the ones I love. And the ones I'm willing to fight for. That's enough for me.
Well, take it from me. Parents are great, but the kid can live without them. It'll be hard, but we'll be fine. As long as we keep this world alive.
And with that, he'll begin casting a spell from a scroll. You can tell that it's from Zamir, a scroll of teleportation, because on the bottom of the scroll, past all the arcane runes, it says, P.S. Love you, at the bottom. And he like reads the scroll and then kind of rolls his eyes at that part, and the scroll dissolves and Varnas teleports away.
I love their dynamic. I miss it.
Okay. And with that, Sultana and Sunni reunited. A moment of true happiness and relief, but a looming threat. If Barnast is right, until divinity is restored to this world, death will be permanent. It is something to be very cautious of moving forward to whatever awaits you in the future. And on that note, that's where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. So just in case I was not clear, let me be extra super duper duper clear. After the resurrection ceremony of Zevran and Isles on Fridays when we'll be playing, if a character drops to 0 hit points and fails all 3 death saving throws, if they die, they are dead. They cannot come back. Revivify, True Resurrection, or anything in between will not work. So, moving forward from this point all the way to the end of the campaign, death is permanent. All right? So, keep that in mind as you prepare for whatever awaits you after the 2 years of downtime. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. Be sure to tune in on tomorrow for the Tales of Everend.
On tomorrow.
Friday for the Isles of... Excuse me. Oh my god, I fucked up both of those. Tune in tomorrow for the Tales of Everend. Friday for the Isles of Iverion. Or next Tuesday for the continue of the adventures of the Salamander Coast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.